So next week I will be starting my teaching practice, and I just want to check everything we are ready for next week teaching practice. So to begin with, did you manage some time to go over mentor handbook and rubric?
Yes, I've had a look at the handbook and a look at some of the rubrics. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So what we were told in our VC class, basically you have to submit 3 evaluation, one 4th week, 7th week and 11th week, and they have 10 standards for the TAC model core teaching standards. So basically every week there will be 1 unit, and as my teaching practice I have to submit 1 video lesson along with the lesson plan, and you have to, there will be 1 standard every week you have to evaluate for me, and if you can start like evaluating every week and compile that as formal evaluation, that's how our instructor told. And next week you might have to attend one of the VC class also.
Yes, I believe so. But I also imagine that like each week as you go through each standard, then also meet with you and just give you feedback on the standard as well.
Yeah, and also we have to set up a time every week that we can talk and you can give me a formal and informal feedback for the lesson. And I also have to write a reflection on how the classes went, and maybe I need to look at that also part of my assignment every week. So we have to find a day and a week where we can meet once again.
Yes, another challenge. Yeah, I'm sure like after each lesson we'll get some feedback, but I guess we need a set time for more formal feedback. I'll write notes.
It will be easier because I have been teaching since the new class, so I know more or less structure of the classroom and I'm familiar with the students, and that way it is easier for me. But besides that, do you have any expectation of how you want me to run the classes?
Well, partly so that everyone knows the same thing. Like as you know, we have two 60-minute classes and 1 90-minute class each week. I'm going to teach the high school chemistry class, the high school physics class, and maybe some maths classes. I usually aim to use the 90-minute class as a lab class where we do some practical, but it doesn't mean you can't do it at other times too. And then in the shorter 1-hour classes, you do short activities, demonstrations, written tasks, simulations, a range of activities, and breaking it up into different segments. So maybe segments, except if they're doing experiments, maybe no longer than 20 minutes or so. I'm trying to start the classes with some sort of review activity from the previous class to find out what they remember. And there's a whole lot. It can be oral, it can be written, it can be some online activity. It also gives you a basis then of where you start from that lesson. And then an outline of what you're going to do in that class, what your goals are for that class, and then your activities during the class. And then at the end, some overview of the class. You can have an exit ticket or you can have different things, and any homework they need to do. Also a good idea if they have homework to put it on Google Classroom so they can't use it as an excuse they don't know. Especially if there's due dates involved, or lab reports, etc. The first lesson you have with them, even though you know the students, but since you're going to be teaching them a bit longer term, you might just want to go over your classroom expectations with them. Think about whether you want, because I basically let students have free seating. They can sit where they like, they can work with whoever they want in their practical work or group work. Occasionally I don't, but you can choose to leave it like that, or if you think it's necessary you can put them into groups. You also might think about, before you start a unit, about doing some sort of pre-test, some sort of diagnostic test to find out where they're at to start with, what background knowledge they have. Because they may have done some chemistry or physics before, they may not have. And then based on that, then you can put them into different groups or give them slightly different activities. In physics, we actually run physics and physics 2 at the same time. So there's a group of 3 students who will do some of the AP Physics 1 work, so they'll do motion in 2 dimensions as well as single 1 dimension. So they'll have additional work on top of their normal work. Now I know for chemistry you're going to do lesson plans and submit them. I think even before you do the lesson plan for the unit, you should have a unit outline of what you're planning to do in that unit and some idea of the activities, the goals, the standards. And then the ones, your specific lesson plans, it would be good if I could see them the day before. Yeah. And let's see, what else? I mean, because you've been in many of our classes before, you also have some idea of the sort of activities you're already familiar with. Because you've been here longer than me, you're familiar with what's equipment's available and that sort of thing as well. What else would you like to know in terms of...
Okay, so my next question is regarding the lab. Do you have any experience like what kind of lab? Because now you know like whole science is moving more into inquiry-based lab work. Do you have any suggestion regarding the lab?
Although this was a physics one that we did at the end, was the using the theory covered previously. When I did physics, I did it based on a lot of the unit on car collisions, car accidents, and so one of the end activities was designing a paper car that went down a ramp with an egg in it and crashed into a wall. So that was applying it rather than discovering it more. Discovering ones, lots of different motion ones you can do. Like what happens if objects collide, what happens to the momentum, what happens to the energy. You can also just do give them an open-ended one of try to find how would you work out the value of gravity, acceleration due to gravity. See if they can come up with a method of it. Yeah, there's lots of possibilities.
During my course, we learned lots of like how to integrate technology into teaching also. So I mean, yeah, we have learned a lot of things, but being more practical. So do you see how easy it would be to implement
integrating technology?
For example, say making them take some online quiz as using ticket, and also the Edmodo thing like helps on how to use the video expression. So do you think that would be? I mean, I'm just asking like because you have experience of trying to use different things in the classroom. How easy that will be, or practically is that possible too?
Yeah, I think they're definitely possible. Yeah, no doubt at all. I think some simulations are possible, but some you've got to be careful how often you use simulations and what you're using it for, because sometimes I found it. Sometimes they find it a little boring, I guess. So you've got to be careful. Use data logging, use photo gates, S4 sensor. If you get really industrious, video analysis, where they video things and they can work out based on the number of frames per second and distance travelled. simple straight line kinematics. Yeah, there's lots out there. It's a matter of choosing what's most effective for what you want to do.
So
Right.
maybe like when you were planning to use something like take your suggestion, see
Yeah.
with the experience,
Yeah,
that appropriate for the class.
yeah.
And I wanted to know more about assessment. Have you thought like can we implement the standard-based grading now, or I know it's like lots of additional work because you might have to start making rubric for.
Yes. Well, the school's not officially really using standard-based grading. You can use it in your classes, but it's still got to be reported as letter grades. So the additional problem we have is actually having standards for some of these units, because we're still in the process of adopting NGSS standards and trying to include some additional standards. So we're still working on that. You can, actually what I'd suggest is maybe for the lab work, maybe at least you can use some sort of standards for that. I have some, because I've used rubrics for that for a long time. So
for the assessment work, I was thinking to run some formative assessment to see overall progress and to give immediate feedback for the kids over the period. But at the end of each unit, I want to run summative assessment so that students get prepared for AP exams. And also for like low achieving kids, then we can also offer alternative summative assessment. Maybe instead of taking the test, we can break down the test into small chunks or offer test or maybe some sort of like project.
Yeah, project I'm not so sure
Yeah.
on. But definitely breaking it down into smaller segments, giving them a test on a shorter, more frequent test. Instead of one summative one at the end, they have a few small summative ones during it. An interview one or oral one. But it depends. I mean, obviously, if it involves calculations, they're still going to have to do the calculation in some way, but they can explain it as they do it. Some also, depending on the topic and type of question, can also be diagrammatic answers as well.
So some sort of like say, we have done one infographic in a meeting with poster, so if you can summarize the whole lesson and come up with like their own idea. Those are like making.
Yeah, it can't be just, it'll have to be a bit more than just memorising and regurgitating information. Yeah. It's harder to come up with project-based assessments. If you can come up with some, yes. You could also, I mean, some could be a practical demonstration too. Yes.
Is there any other thing that you want me
to know? You can also have summative lab reports as well. Don't have to be all of them, but especially if they do a design experiment or even one where they just analyse the data. So that can also, what else? I think, so chemistry you'll start with gases, and physics you'll start with kinematics. Straight line, and then you can have a choice. You can plan the two-dimensional kinematics, or I can do that with the three of them doing that at the same time. Yeah, so I've already done vectors, so hopefully they'll remember that.
I personally feel like this chapter is my strength also in physics.
Okay. And I think that's about it. And I'm sure if you have any other questions along the way,